Every TV pilot displays potential. Within this TV pilot, one can foresee the potency an entire first season can create, from discovering its own identity and exposing its audience to visual concepts with themes. It's only then, when you finish an entire first season, can you pass judgment if the entire series has potential. Victor Death Starfighters, my name is Carlin Jones, and this is a Starfighter TV review. And today I'm going to be talking about the FX comedy drama Reservation Dogs, Season 1. Reservation Dogs has a concept that is original. So original to the point where the show guarantees that you have never been exposed to the environment this series revolves around. Reservation Dogs is about 4 Indigenous teenagers growing up on a reservation in eastern Oklahoma, in a city where not much happens, not much is expected, and not many of the inhabitants care. Each episode gives a realistic view of living in a reservation that's full of awkward comedic wits and surreal, depressing moments. Each of these episodes tackles themes from crime, parenting issues, drug abuse, suicide, and even ancestral history.
William Knife Man. I was at the Battle of Little Bighorn. That's right. I didn't kill anybody, but I fought bravely. Well, I didn't actually fight. I actually didn't even get into the fight itself.
This series focuses on so many more themes that it actually hinders the storytelling of the show, because in every episode it can never focus on one individual theme for long. If there are 2 things that this series does exceptionally well, it's the authenticity of the world these characters exist in, and the representation of Indigenous people. From the clothing designs and the use of Indigenous colloquialisms, Reservation Dogs' concept and its characters are original. However, just like in any first season of a TV series, it struggles to find its own identity. No TV show ever starts with knowing its identity. The process of developing a show's identity can sometimes take as long as completing 3 entire seasons, if not more. With Reservation Dogs having an original concept with original characters, the series struggles with staying true to itself. By far the most interesting thing about the series is when each episode exposes its viewers to the Indigenous culture that is non-existent in America's civilization. Each episode, Reservation Dogs quickly turns away from this and rather focuses on its storytelling, cinematography, and even dialogue that feels like you're watching another generic series that's trying way too hard to be like any other series that has had major success within its teen genre. I know for a fact that the copycat cinematography and at times safe and unpolished screenwriting is what got Reservation Dogs greenlit for national television. But its representation and individuality of knowing a culture is what's going to make this series last for seasons. But that's only if Reservation Dogs can center on what makes its series different from the rest. This series is nowhere close to figuring out its identity, but with a second season on the way, maybe it can. Reservation Dogs is a weird show. And I'm not saying it's weird as in like, oh, it's creative weird. I mean, it's flat out weird, with characters talking to themselves in forms of ancestral relatives or talking to their conscience for a bit of comic relief. These weird moments happen throughout the series, but not often enough. Sometimes you even forget a weird spirit element to the show even exists, only to be reminded an episode or 2 later. Season 1 has quite a bit of really emotional moments that really sheds a light on mental health and grieving over a lost loved one. But with the inconsistent writing of why these characters are motivated to do certain things or feel a certain kind of way, made these dark emotional moments feel not earned. For an example, and this is a bit of a spoiler, there is a character named Daniel that the series mentioned that he passed away. As episodes go on, you see the characters feel sad over his death, but rarely do you ever see flashbacks of them with Daniel actually doing something, like going on adventures. Instead, we're only told that Daniel was a great friend, and towards the end of the series, we find out that Daniel committed suicide, which is horrible, but the weight of Daniel's loss never resonated with me during the first season because he felt more like a stranger than an actual friend. I only wish we could have saw more of Daniel and what led to his fatal decision. Instead, we got a handful of throwaway episodes that try to cram in way too many themes and jokes.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready. Prepare for blast-off.
Alright, Starfighters, that was my review on Reservation Dogs Season 1. Comment below and let me know what you thought about this series. I'm dying to conversate to someone about this series because it's definitely worth talking about. Now, as always, if you like the content, leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. But until then, victory or death, Starfighters.